It's my privilege to introduce the mayor of Miami-Dade County to you. Just a little background. The mayor is a lifelong resident of Dade County, a graduate of Columbus High, Barry University. He's a lifelong civil servant in the best tradition of civil service. 25 years with the City of Miami Fire and Rescue Department, the last 9 years as its chief. Then 3 years as the city manager of the City of Miami. Then county commissioner, Commission District 7, which is the district here. And many of you, Coral Gables, Pinecrest. He was there for 7 years, and for the last 10 months has been the mayor of the Miami-Dade County. Mr. Mayor, we usually agree on issues. Sometimes we don't, but when we don't, we feel like we're getting a fair shake, and that's the most important thing about a public servant. We appreciate your hard work, and ladies and gentlemen, Carlos Gimenez.
Joe, I was really impressed with how you use the iPhone. I, on the other hand, need an iPad. And good Sunday afternoon to you all, and thank you for coming on not the greatest day in Miami-Dade County, but look, every day here is really, we live in paradise. Every once in a while we get a day like this, I think we can put up with it. And it's great to be here with you today at the historic Doc Thomas House for the Tropical Audubon Society's annual meeting and awards presentation. And you know, I'm here because my wife Lourdes, she gave me a hall pass. I don't normally go out on Friday afternoons, but this is a very special for me. So I just, you know, it's going to cost me a couple of lawn clippings and stuff like that I have to do. But all joking aside, the Tropical Audubon Society is an important voice in our Miami-Dade County community, and you made it your mission to lead our local conservation efforts and issues since 1947. And so I understand this is the 65th anniversary, 65th anniversary. You're now a senior citizen society. And so very few organizations in our community can. Do you get Medicare and Medicaid? We'll accept it. Very few organizations in our community can claim to have been around for that long. I myself have been around for about 50 years. I am a lifelong resident, but I wasn't born here. I was born in Cuba, and I came here when I was 6 years old. But this for me is home, and the only home that I want. My children are here, and my growing list of grandchildren are here also. I just recently had another granddaughter about a month ago, and how many of you are grandparents here? Okay, those that raise their hands, they get it. Everybody else, you don't. Okay. Another part of your mission is raising awareness and appreciation of our natural environment, and then getting out there and enjoying it for yourselves. And Miami-Dade County is a great place to do that. We're fortunate to be surrounded by nature here. Our community is bookended by 2 beautiful national parks and a patchwork of parks, green spaces, and beaches in between. Today I'd like to give you a brief recap of my efforts to date as your mayor, and then I'll speak more specifically to the county issues that matter most to the Tropical Audubon Society. Simply put, my first 10 months in office have been a blur. I hit the ground running back in July and haven't stopped to catch my breath yet. Probably lost about 15 pounds in the interim, which is good. I actually want to lose a little bit more, so I need to be re-elected so you guys get me in shape. Okay? Given the economic challenges our residents are facing, my priorities have been easing the tax burden on struggling families, making county government more affordable and more efficient, and continuing to deliver vital public services. And to that end, property taxes were reduced by over $200 million. I delivered a county budget that's over $1 billion leaner than last year's, and we're undergoing a major reorganization to deliver services better and allow job creators to reach their full potential. And I'll come back to the reorganization a bit later. Lastly, we've maintained vital government services, most notably public safety and programs for our seniors and children. And I believe that these services are fundamental to what we do as a government, and I'm committed to making sure that they continue to work well. Shifting gears, I'd like to spend some time on those county's issues that are specifically important to you. At the top of that list, and at the top of your list, and I'm sure that at the top of my list, is the urban development boundary. While I see economic growth and job creation as critical to our county's future, they can't come at the expense of our natural environment, and that means putting a lid on urban sprawl. Endless expansion isn't sustainable, and it comes with a steep cost to our people and our environment alike. It clogs our roadways, it overcrowds our schools, it strains our natural resources like the drinking water that we draw from the Biscayne Aquifer. It threatens our natural treasure and habitats, and it ultimately impacts our quality of life. I believe that we must protect the urban development boundary and focus growth in areas that already have the necessary infrastructure. That's why I propose a new approach to controlling urban sprawl and protecting our environment. In February, I called on commissioners to make it more difficult to move the UDB. I want them to change the charter to require that any movement of the current line must be approved by 3/4 majority of the board, 11 of the 13 members, as recommended by the Charter Review Task Force in 2008, of which I was a member. This will ensure that future commissions and future mayors have strict standards for making any changes to the line. And I'm just talking about holding the line, I'm doing it. A case in point is a proposed FIU bird basin land swap that I opposed and helped to avert. Like all of you, I want to see FIU and their medical school succeed, and I want to see our youth fair do well also. But I don't want their growth and progress to come at the expense of natural spaces that we have already pledged to protect. So I took a stand and lobbied the folks in Tallahassee to make sure that the 350 acres of wetlands that make up the bird basin were protected. And I'm confident that by working with FIU and the youth fair, that we will be able to work out a solution and a compromise somewhere else. Again, I'm all for economic growth and job creation, but I want to do it responsibly. That approach applies to the deep dredge of the port also. It's a project that will create needed jobs for families in our community, but we need to balance economic progress with a healthy concern for our natural spaces, and I believe that the compromise is a good thing, and I'm glad that all sides came to an agreement last week. The project will now move forward, and our natural spaces, from mangroves to coastal dunes to seagrass beds, will be improved. It is really a win-win for our community. Before wrapping up, I want to address one more subject that I know is of interest to you. I understand that there are concerns that Durham has somehow been weakened or reduced to a lesser role as a result of the reorganization process that I touched on earlier. Let me take this opportunity to assure you that it's simply not the case. By merging Durham with the county's other regulatory agencies, we aren't compromising environmental protection. What we're doing is smoothing out the permitting process for our customers. And let me be clear, I want business and residents to meet the same environmental standards today that they always have, but just in a less complicated bureaucratic manner, period. You know, I'm a bit of a history buff, especially when it comes to our community, so I'll figure I'll close with some historical perspective. I was excited to learn that John James Audubon sailed past the Cape Florida Lighthouse on his way to the Florida Keys exactly, or almost exactly, 180 years ago, almost to the day. It's hard to imagine what this place looked like back on April 24th, 1832, and what Audubon saw as he passed our shores. And I'm sure that he couldn't imagine what our world looks like now either. But despite all the changes, he would be glad to know that his legacy is still going strong and making a real impact on communities like ours through organizations such as yours. Thank you all very much for your time today. It's been an honor to be with you here today, and I'll be happy to take some questions. Thank you.